Welcome to another episode of Nintendo News Daily. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and it's Friday. It's the weekend. We just had the Mario Kart World Direct. I know some people are hyped. Some people are hyped. I don't know about everybody. I know some people are a little upset about the price still. I get it. I understand, but I'm hyped. I'm super hyped. Let's jump into the news because there's a lot of great stuff to talk about. First up, Nintendo Switch 2 US pre-orders start on the 24th of April. I've seen Target, Best Buy, GameStop, I think Walmart, maybe it was Amazon. I can't remember which, but I've started to see a handful of them getting their landing pages ready. And so the 24th is the day. Here's what I know. If you're in the US, Best Buy is going to take the full amount right when you pre-order, right? I think they end up putting it back, but just keep that in mind. GameStop, you're looking at, I'm assuming because I don't know if they have the details yet. Like usually it's like 125 or maybe it'll be 200 this time around if you get the bundle. I don't know. So that'll be what you got to put down for your pre-order. Target and Amazon, if they're doing it, I don't know if Nintendo and Amazon are friends yet. They've been kind of going back and forth for quite a while, so not sure on that one exactly. But I do know with Target, you're not going to get charged until it ships. So keep that in mind if you're trying to juggle the funds or whatever the case may be. Those are kind of your options when it comes to pre-ordering the Switch 2. Nintendo put out an email this morning. What was funny is the moment I got the email, I immediately tweeted it out, and I had a handful of people in my comments saying, "Yo, you beat Wario 64 to this news," and I was like, "That's right, let's go." So, but super excited. The 24th of April, you can start to pre-order your Switch 2 now. Let's talk pricing. In the US, you're looking at $449. In Canada, you're looking at $629 for just the base system. For the bundle, you're looking at $499 in the States and $699 in Canada. I'm so sorry to our brothers and sisters up north. Prices on Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Bonanza are also unchanged. $79.99 in the US, $109.99 in Canada. For Mario Kart, $69.99 and $99.99 for Donkey Kong in the US and Canada. And you can pre-order those as well. What did go up in price, however, accessories. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going to go through the list real quick. Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller went from $74.99 to $84.99. And I'm looking at, this is on Nintendo Life right now. I feel like it was only a $5 increase, but I could be wrong. But I do know that the current price is $84.99. Joy-Con, $94.99. You're looking at almost $100 for a pair. And this is US. The Joy-Con charging grip went up $5 to $39.99. The Joy-Con straps went up from $12.99 to $13.99. The wheel set went up from $19.99 to $24.99. The Switch 2 camera from $49.99 to $54.99. A secondary dock, if you want to get a second dock, is going to be $119.99 instead of $109.99. The carrying case and a screen protector went up $5 to $39.99. Looks like another all-in-one carrying case went up from $79.99 to $84. And the AC adapter went up from $29.99 to $34.99. And a Samsung micro SD card went from $54.99 to $59.99. So just keep in mind, accessories have gone up. Word on the street is that accessories and physical games are going to be hard to come by at first. Consoles shouldn't be as difficult. There should be quite a few. GameStop's going to be getting 100 consoles per store. So might be a good place to go and get your pre-order in. And they are starting at 11 a.m. on the 24th in store. You got to be in store. I'm not sure what they're doing online, but I know if you are there in store at 11 or 12, whenever your GameStop opens, that is when they're going to start pre-orders for each individual store. So good luck with that one. Speaking of the SD cards, micro SD express cards are selling out thanks to Switch 2 Fever. So if you're looking for one of these, it could be a little bit difficult. It looks like Samsung has a 256 gig card that has the Mario emblem on it. Of course, you're going to probably pay a little. That might be the one. Let's see. I don't know. Was that 256 in this one? It looks like, yeah, 256. So it's going to be $60 for that one. You might be able to find like the SanDisk might end up being a little bit cheaper, but it looks like SanDisk also has the Mario emblem as well. So but they are selling out. So just keep that in mind. Like if you're planning on going all digital, you're going to have that extra cost. So be on the lookout, maybe follow Wario64 or something like that. So you can be in the know the moment one of these cards becomes available. And, just be looking out at your local retailer. And remember, you have to use these EX cards for Switch 2. You cannot use a regular SD card. It's got to be these express cards. So just keep that in mind. Nintendo has kicked off Mario Kart World marketing in Japan with a trio of new trailers, and I've seen a couple of them. It looks like you got one that's kind of like starts off with Mario, one that starts off with Peach, and one that starts off with Bowser. And so really cool to see that they've got 3 30-second ads already going out and kind of starting to show off the game. These might end up being played on YouTube and TV commercials, that kind of stuff. And so just looking at the article here, it says, well, it looks like Nintendo has officially off the start line with Mario Kart World marketing in Japan. The upcoming racer has just scored 3 new trailers showcasing some of the new characters, courses, and tricks you'll be able to see in action on the 5th of June. A lot of footage might not seem all that new after yesterday's direct, and that's what I noticed too. It was a lot of reused footage. But there are a couple of fresh shots thrown into the 30-second ads for good measure. It all focuses on the standard racing rather than the free roam or battle modes and shows some of the series' familiar faces going head-to-head on the newly designed courses. You'll find the first of these 3 trailers at the top of this post. If you're over on Nintendo Life, you can check them out. And like I said, I think Stealth tweeted one out and I watched it, and I love to see that the marketing is already started for this game. You guys know me. When it comes to Mario Kart, like I'm super, super hyped. I was just on the Nintendo Byte podcast last night and talked extensively about Mario Kart and even got into like the depths of the competitive side of things. And so if I've gotten some decent feedback on that episode. So if you want to go check it out, I highly recommend it. It is not kid friendly. It's not a family friendly show. So just keep that in mind if that's something that bothers you. But otherwise, go check out the Nintendo Byte podcast. I also want to let you guys know too that I am now an official co-host on the Nintendo Topic podcast, which is the main host is Mike Odyssey. And Mike's got a great YouTube channel, lots of great content, and that's happening every Friday night at 8:30 Eastern on Mike's channel. So tune in for that if you want to see a live show. And NPC, we're still kind of working out the details. I was on a show last night, so that's why we didn't record. But I want to try to get together with the guys at least a minimum of once a month and still chat Nintendo stuff. So these daily episodes will be coming out on a regular schedule as well. Next up, Rune Factory. This I found very interesting. So Rune Factory Gardens of Azuma. Switch 2 cart will apparently also work on Switch 1. And so the game is on the cart. Okay, I'm just going to read the blurb here. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition is a red 64 gig game card that includes in full the Nintendo Switch game and the upgrade pack. There's no need to download the full game. Simply insert the card either into Nintendo Switch or your Switch 2 console, and the correct version will launch automatically. Like most modern titles, there may be small updates or patches available at launch to provide minor fixes and improvements, but rest assured the complete game is on the game card, ready to play from day one. Now, I think this is kind of coming as a shock to a lot of people because I think there was kind of the assumption that like if you put the red cart in your Switch, it's not going to fit. Maybe it wouldn't work, but apparently this will work. So it makes me wonder, what about Metroid? What about Metroid Prime Beyond? What about we can only assume that like Tomodachi Life, when it releases, will have a Switch 2 version as well as the Switch 1, and so How many games is this going to be the case? Now, granted, keep in mind, this is a 64 gig card that they're using. So they have the space, I'm assuming, and the more space you have to pack into that card, the more expensive they become. So this may not be a norm for a lot of third party or even first party. But if it is, if we find out that it is, and of course I'll let you guys know as soon as possible, you could start purchasing Switch 2 games that still work in your Switch 1 so that when you do decide to upgrade, you're not having to buy the upgrade path or whatever for games that are already going to be working on your Switch 1. So really I love what I'm seeing here. I hope this becomes something that is a little bit more of a norm, but nothing I can guarantee, right? And just like the article says, so it says the red Switch 2 cards can seemingly work in Switch 1 console. We imagine that a lot of this is going to be a case-by-case basis set by publisher in the coming years. And they finish it off, but gosh, our heads hurt already. So again, hopefully we see this in a few different scenarios, because it would be great in some cases to like pick up the Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime Beyond. And then if somebody in the house wants to play it that they don't have the Switch 2 yet, the game would still play on their console. Now, I'm completely fine if you have to download the upgrade path for this kind of stuff. And I assume that when it comes to like Here's the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, that if you hadn't picked those up yet and you buy, well, I don't think those are Switch 2 versions, right? Like, speaking of head hurting, it gets a little bit crazy because there's like the Switch 2 version of Prime. There's also the Switch 1 version. Now, maybe because Nintendo is doing that, there's no way that they'll put it on the red cart also, but we'll just have to wait and see. There is a chance, since we're seeing it is possible. Star Wars Outlaws Switch 2 release date was revealed at the Star Wars Celebration. And so it is looking like it is going to be releasing in September. On the 4th of September, you'll be able to play Star Wars Outlaws on Switch 2. Now, I know this game, like, some people like enjoyed it, some people really hated it. It kind of had a lot of controversy and stuff like that, but I think overall it was a fairly decent game. There is a little bit more to the news here. So Star Wars Outlaws Switch 2 release date revealed at Star Wars Celebration. A Pirate's Fortune DLC was also shown off. So they do have a trailer for the DLC that is going to be coming out around the time that the Switch 2. Let me see. It looks like the Pirate's Fortune developers team has now confirmed the DLC pack will be arriving on May 15th. So by the time the Switch 2 version arrives, it will have already been released. So there you go. It will be available, and I'm assuming it's going to be a little extra cost there once you pick it up on the Switch, and they are charging $14.99 for the DLC. So I just want to take a quick peek at the article, make sure we're not missing anything here. So it says Star Wars Outlaws is on the way to Nintendo Switch 2 later this year, in case you missed it. It's also getting a new story pack DLC. Apart from Wildcard, originally released last year, there's an upcoming story, A Pirate's Fortune. The development team is now confirmed the DLC pack will be arriving on May 15th for other platforms. So by the time the Switch 2 version arrives, it'll already been released. Alongside this, a new trailer has been shared. So it does not say anything about it like being included with the Switch 2. So I wouldn't assume that at all. Next up, Nintendo removes variable refresh rate TV mention on the Switch 2 website. So it's kind of interesting because it was something that was there and then got taken away. So I'm looking at a tweet here from Oliver McKenzie. It says, important clarification, European sites appears to still have VRR as supported display out feature, though it's possible they are in the process of removing the text across all regions. Right now, the Canadian, American, and Japanese sites do not mention VRR support docked. Update, the text is gone from European Nintendo website as well. Hard to think this is an error / coincidence. So Nintendo Life did reach out and they will let us know if they hear anything back. There is an update. I just want to make sure there's a couple updates here. Thursday at 9:55 p.m. and then Thursday. So that's the earliest one. So yeah, it looks like it was just something that was there and then They decided to remove it. So, and to give you a little more detail here, it says some weird stuff is going on the going on at Nintendo. It looks like they changed their US website to no longer mention VRR support for TV play. Only HDR and 120 hertz support get a call out. They continue here. It says if this change was made for a reason, presumably VRR support will not only be available at launch, perhaps they've run into some issues with the Realtek DisplayPort to HDMI converter in the dock. In any case, hopefully support can be added in the future. Important clarification, European sites still appear to have VRR as supported display out feature, though it is possible they're in the process of removing the text, which we saw, and they have. So interesting to see here. I know there's been some discussion around the HDMI port and that it may be an older port. I don't have that information up in front of me right now, that it's, there's been chatter that it's like a 2.0 instead of the 2.1. I'm just looking through this article to see if there's any clarification on that. But again, it's kind of getting into stuff that like I haven't delved too far in to see what those differences are. If I get a chance to do that, I will report back. Lastly, this is just for Nintendo Music, and it says another Fire Emblem soundtrack looks to be joining Nintendo Music, and it is Fire Emblem Engage. So I will say this, I'm excited for this. I haven't played much of Engage, so I don't know what the music is like. But after playing Xenoblade Chronicles and finishing the definitive edition, I'm going to be doing an episode about that very soon. I'm going to try to get, I'm going to see if I can get a couple other creators to join me. Another creator just recently finished the first game as well. And so I'm hoping to get him on and chat about Xenoblade Chronicles. I've now started Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Shout out to Nintendo for the code on that one. And the music is fantastic. Like, it's so good. So really excited for the Fire Emblem music. I hope Xenoblade gets added at some point, because it is, especially when you get into the battles, that music is just absolutely fire. Like, I love it. So that is going to do it for today's episode of Nintendo News Daily. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening after the fact, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye now.